put out his first 2018 NFL mock draft, and he has USC quarterback Sam Darnold going #1 overall to the Browns, Baker Mayfield going at #5 to the Broncos, and UCLA's Josh Rosen going 6th to the Jets. Danny, which quarterback do you think will be the best in the NFL?
All right, I like Joe Clapp, but I think he's out there living in L.A., spending too much time with Sam Darnold, which would be easy to do. Like, you can fall in love with the kid. He's great attitude, great perspective, very down to earth. His teammates gravitate toward him. But I actually like Baker Mayfield better. I think what he's getting knocked for, I think we're doing what we've done historically with quarterbacks in college, is we overanalyze them. And we look and say, man, he's not 6'4". He played in the system that we don't really love, and it's shown before that it's kind of, you put up gaudy statistics. I look at a player who has won at every level he's played at, who has not been the most prolifically recruited player out of high school, who was a walk-on not once but twice at 2 different programs, earned his keep, and won the respect of his locker room. And I think, and not to say Sam Darnold wouldn't do that, but as far as decision-making, I look at his decision-making on the field. He's one of the most efficient passers we've seen in the history of college football. 70% completion percentage at Oklahoma, and 131 touchdowns and 30 interceptions throughout his career. I don't see many flaws. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the history of college football. Why are we overthinking this? I look at these players, much like we did with Deshaun Watson last year. Yeah. Like, we were like, oh, Mr. Trubisky, he looks great. He's got a strong arm. Patrick Mahomes can sling it, can throw it 50 yards all over the place. Deshaun Watson played great against some of the best competition when he was facing Alabama. He was a winner. Like, why are we overanalyzing Baker Mayfield?
I got questions about Baker. I'm one of those overanalyzing. First, look, who's the last quarterback to come out of the Big 12 and do anything? Right. The only 2 Pro Bowlers in recent memory, Vince Young and RG3, and we know how those turned out. So I got questions about that. I mean, that conference, the defense is, not that impressive, things like that. Mayfield, I think he's going to have some adjustments, obviously, at the next level. People talking about his mobility and ability to make plays with his feet. I don't know that he's going to be able to do that in the NFL. Some have compared him to Russell Wilson. But Wilson runs like a 4.5 40 and can do that in the NFL. The estimates for what Baker will run are anywhere from 4.7 to 4.9. I don't think he's going to be able to make those types of plays in the NFL at the next level. So I have some questions about him. I like Darnold. I like, obviously, he's got all the physical tools. I think he's got the poise. I think he's got the passion. I think he's a gamer. I think he's got the instincts, of a quarterback. His ball security is a concern. I mean, not only the interceptions, but fumbling the football. Hopefully he can get the interceptions down at the next level, but he might be a guy that you kind of live with that. Brett Favre, you've heard him compared to him as far as being a gunslinger. I think that's what Darnold is. You might just have to live with some interceptions, but I like him the best. Rosen, obviously has the physical tools as well. There's concerns about the passion for the game, or he might be a little too smart for his own good, or at least think he's too smart for his own good. And I don't know if he's going to be able to be that willing learner that he's going to need to be in the NFL, at least not right away.
All these quarterbacks, I don't really love any of them. Like, at 1 or 2, I'd prefer to be back around 10 to 15 and get Baker Mayfield at that spot, as opposed to going, all right, I'm going to take him at 1, or I'm going to take any of these guys. Darnold, Rosen, like, those guys are showing up at 1 and 2 on most mock drafts. In all of them, you're basically trying to tip the scale, because it is a coin flip with all of these guys. It is a 50-50 proposition. So all you're trying to do is you're trying to find an edge. Like, hey, where can I maybe slight that to where it's 60-40? And all of them have significant red flags. Like, and when I look at Darnold, and he is a really good athlete. He can make all the throws. But the turnovers concern me. And it was funny, Dusty, our boy over there, said, hey, it reminds me of the Jameis Winston trajectory, because he had a phenomenal first year out of the gates, burst on the scene, was on the cover of every offseason magazine, Heisman favorite. And then he took a step back when he was kind of handed the keys to college football. Struggle with those turnovers. And that's why I look, when I talk about decision-making on the field, every team you go on, no matter what offense you play in the NFL, they're going to harp on the importance of turnovers. You can't turn the ball over. And with Jameis Winston, when he was coming out of Florida State, similar to Sam Darnold, big year, wins the Heisman Trophy, national championship, then struggled with interceptions, trying to do too much. And we're all like, well, he'll figure it out. He'll figure it out. And maybe he will still. But to this point in his career, and we're getting more and more years, he still struggles with interceptions. Some guys, Brett Favre, but you were able to win championships with Brett, or one championship, because he was so great as a passer. I don't know if Darnold has that type of top-tier arm strength, arm talent, like a Brett Favre, where it's worth that risk.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I wonder, like, Josh Allen, you know, I mean, people are kind of all over the board on him, but the thing that concerns me about him is the lack of accuracy. You mentioned starting out strong your freshman year, and he was still good the next 2 years, but 56% accuracy, not against the greatest competition in the nation. And that's one of the hardest things, you know better than me, to improve is your accuracy.
Yep.
So if he wasn't that accurate at the collegiate level, it's hard to see him doing that at the NFL level.
Yeah, I look at Josh Allen, and I'm scared because I see all of these scouts and GMs falling in love with him because he's got the Senior Bowl and he's throwing it, whatever, 79 miles an hour. And he's viral videos of him throwing from his knees 50 yards. I'm like, what does that translate in the NFL? It doesn't translate one bit. You have to be accurate. You have to make good decisions. And when I see Josh Allen, I think if you're playing at Wyoming, you should dominate. And you're playing against less competition. Yes, you have less talent around you, but you should dominate against those peers. And when you have the opportunity to play against Power 5 teams, you should at least showcase some of those abilities. And he really struggled against Nebraska, against other Power 5 teams when he was given that opportunity. I would be nervous with Josh Allen. I think he's a raw talent, but we've seen a lot of guys with raw talent. Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf. You can go down the litany of list of guys who could throw it, and it doesn't matter. You only really need to be able to throw the football in the air at your longest throw is maybe 55 yards. But you have to be able to drop it into a window that's about the size of the sea. Like, you just have to be accurate. And so many times we fall in love with the guy's height. He's 6'5", he's 235. Go watch the film. Like, don't fall in love with a guy just because of what you see in him shorts and a T-shirt.
What will the Combine do when they can sit down with these players and have these meetings and talk to, I mean, not just about the film.
Of course,
what they can do.
yeah.
What does that do?
It will, I think that'll be most important to Baker Mayfield, because I think that every team has question marks, not about his play, but hey, why the arrest?
Yeah.
Why the crotch grab? Why did this happen? Why were you late to the Senior Bowl? And he had a family issue, but they're going to want to know. They're going to want to talk to him. But I think once they get him and talk to him and figure out, hey, I'm a leader. This is what means something to me. I love the game. I think he'll come out of there, and all those doubts that people might have about his character will be erased when he comes out of that meeting. In Lamar Jackson, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. That's where I'm concerned with Lamar Jackson. And we talked about this. He will struggle communicating with the scouts and GMs, which unfortunately I think is going to hurt him. But that's why, if I was a team, I would say, again, throw on the film, watch him play in a complex system at Louisville where Bobby Petrino put a ton of pressure on him and he excelled, and say, you know what, I don't care what he sounds like or how he talks. We can worry about all that later. We can develop a young man who's still young. He's only 21 years old. Let's let him grow up and mature. But we're going to have a heck of a football player in our hands when we get him.
Will teams sit, I mean, with Lamar Jackson, is that a situation they would ask him about his opportunity to switch a position? Like when they talk about,
absolutely.
Like, is that the questions that will be asked then?
Yeah, but I think Lamar Jackson will laugh those off the same way he did with me, being like, I can't catch. That's what he told me when I said, would you consider playing wide receiver? He's like, I can't catch. So why would he do it? Which is kind of crazy.
As a tailback? I mean, look, Bill Polian caught a lot of flack for his comments. I tend to agree with him. You know, I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't give Lamar Jackson a shot at NFL quarterback, but I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, how many guys, and people talk about Michael Vick, I think he throws it better, doesn't have the arm strength that Vick had, but as far as accuracy, I think he's a little better than Vick was at Virginia Tech. But guys like that just haven't lasted in the NFL. I don't think you can run that much in the NFL and stay healthy. He's not a big guy. We've seen Cam Newton have health problems because of the way he runs, and he's huge.
Yeah.
He's like twice as big as Lamar Jackson. So I do have questions about him as a quarterback in the NFL. Look, people said it even might have been racist of polling. I don't think that. Scott Frost coming out of Nebraska, they didn't even give him a chance to play quarterback in the NFL.
Tebow wanted to be tight.
Yeah, so yeah. I don't. Julian Edelman was a quarterback in college. They didn't give him a chance. So I don't think it has anything to do with race. I mean, 12 teams started African-American quarterbacks last year in the NFL.
But he's a quarterback, not a receiver.
You think so?
He's a quarterback, yeah.
Starter, long-term starter in the NFL? If he's not then he's not a quarterback in the NFL.
He has as good a chance as those guys we discussed, Rosen, Darnol, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, especially Josh Allen. I feel way more comfortable with Lamar Jackson's future than I do about Josh Allen because of what I've seen on film.
I'd love to be wrong about Lamar because if he could play the way he played in college or even two-thirds of that as far as the running, bring that element to the NFL like Michael Vick did, it'd be tremendous to watch.
Yeah.
All right, we're taking a quick break. Coming up, are the Warriors about to leave the Rockets in the dust? Steph Curry, he's doing his part. That is next on First Things First. You didn't throw from your knees? You didn't do that?
No. When do you do that in a game? Like, when are you ever going to have to do that?
How far could you throw it?